the next one that I have to discuss is going to be Jonathan Mingo. Landing in Carolina in the second round was a solid pick. They ripped him really early, but in my opinion, he was worth it. In terms of where they took him, a lot of people really liked Jonathan Mingo to the point where potentially he could have been a late first-round guy. The Panthers get him at 39 in the second round. They had to take him early. They needed a wide receiver. They added DJ Chark and Adam Thielen, but outside of that, you talk about Shi Smith, talk about Terrence Marshall. Yeah, the depth chart really gets shaky past those guys. So Jonathan Mingo will be a solid addition and a player who played a lot of different positions. At Ole Miss, they played him in the slot, played him outside. They liked putting the ball in his hands. And as a physical presence running with the ball after the catch, that was his best trait to me as a player. 6'2", 220 out of Ole Miss. The noticeable physical presence was on display on the tape that we're watching here. So well-proportioned frame, muscular upper body, dense lower half. The quickness and strength playing through defensive backs and press coverage was solid as well. He gets quickly into his routes. I want to see him get more downfield speed. I know that there's some highlights that we'll pull up, but the downfield speed, I want to see some improvement on, but he still showcased a little bit of it against some of the competition in college. But a solid guy. I mean, he's going to be a very solid addition to this Panthers offense for long-term for Bryce Young at quarterback now that they took with the number 1 overall pick. A good addition that he now has as a long-term target in the passing game to rely on. So I liked Mingo as a top second-round pick, and that's where they got him at. So I don't know if it was good value. It was right at on par value, but I like the fit with the Panthers. They needed to rip a guy like this and have a guy like this in their offense, and they were able to go out and get him. So I really like them being able to do that. So Mingo's another one where he's a really solid player to add within this offense with, again, Bryce Young and the rest of their group. And you pull up the current look of it with the Panthers depth chart going into this season. So again, they're going to be a young team, but a pretty experienced team. Bryce Young and Andy Dalton at quarterback. You got second-year Matt Corral, who's still limping around. And unfortunately, they're probably going to end up giving up on him. But Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. They didn't really add much to that room like I was expecting them to. But I think Miles Sanders can be a third down back and like a 3-down back for this Panthers team and work in the passing game. So you got Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, and Jonathan Mingo as your starting wide receivers. And then you got depth guys in Terrence Marshall Jr., Shi Smith, and Laviska Shenault, and Damiere Byrd. So now they have more depth. Adding, they just needed one player, and they got that player in Mingo to round out really that passing game within the offense. Hayden Hurst, Ian Thomas, and Tommy Tremble. A solid offensive line. Akeem Ekwonu, Brady Christensen, Bradley Bozeman, Tyler Moton at right tackle, Austin Corbett. They're expecting him to potentially miss time, so they added in Chandler Zavala out of NC State, who was a good pick, former teammate of Ike Ekwonu that they have at left tackle. So Zavala is kind of a plug-and-play guy at left or right guard, so I think he'll start the season at right guard until Austin Corbett's back from his injury. They also have Dante Brown as a depth guy they took in last year's class, and a pretty solid defense. So this Panthers squad is going to be one to watch out for. They're going to be one that you don't want to mess with next year, I think, in this NFC South. You don't want to overlook this Panthers team because if Bryce Young proves to be worth that number 1 pick, this team will be very good very quickly, in my opinion, in Carolina. And Mingo will be a player to help out that offense and move them along.